Welcome to Wine Soundtrack South Africa. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world. In 30 answers, discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hello friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack, this is Nadia, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Nadia Langenegger from Waterkloof Wines. Nadia, a very warm welcome and thanks for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
I'm the winemaker here at Waterkloof, and I've been here for, believe it or not, but over 13 years, and I'm married, and we have a little girl who's 2 years old named Clara.
Oh, you were saying you're going to send her to hostel one day.
We'll see.
Nadia, tell us, where is Waterkloof located?
Waterkloof Wine Estate is located in Somerset West. If you drive on the N2, we're about 40 minutes from Cape Town, on the outskirts of Stellenbosch, very close to the ocean, and quite high up, about 300 meters above sea level.
And you've got a really iconic building. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, this building is, every day when I see it, I think, yes, it's spectacular. And it was built or designed by an Australian architect called Mitch Hayhow. And then it was completed in 2009. But it's just spectacular 10 by 8 meter glass box, and when you stand in this glass box you can see the ocean, the mountains, and then with the way we farm, which is quite the contrary to the building, you can see the horses working in the vineyard, Nguni cows, so it's a really interesting building where it's very transparent and you can see what Waterkloof is about. So when you're inside you can see the winery, you can also see the kitchen. So there's no secrets at Waterkloof, and embracing the nature that's around us with the view.
Indeed, it really, really is something special, and you feel like you're on top of the world whenever you come here, I must say. So how many hectares of land is under vine here?
We have about 123 hectares under vineyard. We've got quite a few young plantings, especially of Mourvèdre, because we believe it's a great site for the varietal. So once in production, we'll have 35 hectares of Mourvèdre. And then we have quite a variety of different varietals, ranging from Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, Semillon, Cabernet Franc. It's a great site for Cabernet Franc as well. Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Syrah as well.
Some really nice varietals here, and I know the wines are really, really good. Tell me, how many cases of year do you roughly produce?
Oh, I'm not good with cases. but we do about 400 tons here at Waterkloof. So definitely a medium-sized winery, but we have quite a big extensive range of different labels that we do at Waterkloof.
And you are one of the first organic and biodynamically focused wineries here in South Africa. How's that going?
Very well. Currently we're only certified organic, but we do use biodynamic principles in our vineyards. But with that, so our farm manager, Christian, is just absolutely fantastic when it comes to farming, and he's just embraced what we have around us. So for biodynamics you often use, for example, chamomile, and he's rather found that he wants to use kooigoed, which is a local fynbos. So he's looked around what he can do to rather use indigenous plantation. So with that, we're not currently certified with Demeter Biodynamic, but we're still doing the Cowpat system, and we're doing the 500 preparate. So all of it, but currently just not certified.
Fair enough. That makes perfect sense, and it certainly shows that your heart is in the right place in terms of how you produce wine. Where can we find your wines in the world?
We are all over the world. So ranging quite a bit in the UK. The owner of Waterkloof, Paul Boutino, comes from the UK. He had a company called Boutino, a wine distributor company, which he sold in 2013. We're also in the Dutch market, in Holland, Norway, a little bit in the States as well. So you can find our wines all over. On our website, you'll be able to see where you can find it. If you're not successful there, send us an email. We are very active on social media. We'll definitely help you to find our wines.
So Nadia, you were born in Pretoria. How did your love for wine begin? I know you went to school here in the Western Cape, but where did it start? What was that little bite that hit you?
So my dad is a geologist, and my mom is a biology teacher, a botanist actually. And so we're very much nature-orientated people. And my dad, as a hobby, is a bee farmer. So he used to have his beehives at Cordoba, actually. And when Chris Keat was still the winemaker, I was fortunate enough to spend quite a bit of time in the vineyards there and in the winery. And Chris is I still believe he's one of the best winemakers in South Africa. And he was so generous and always willing to show me around. And so it was only natural to go in that direction. And who doesn't like working outside in nature? And every day with our industry is different, and we only have this one chance a year to create this product that reflects what nature gives us. So it's a wonderful job. I really enjoy it.
It really is, but it's also something that it's a passion that I think some people really have, and to be able to live that passion is truly an honor, I suppose, in many ways. So as a winemaker, I'm sure you travel quite extensively around the world. Are there any wines that you've drunk on your travels that really have left an indelible mark on your memory?
Everyone who knows me knows that I'm a massive Burgundy fan. So I think definitely a Chambertin from Gevrey, Chambertin, 2005, I think, was the vintage. So Grand Cru, that's just, I don't think I will ever forget that wine. And then just hopping around Burgundy, tasting Burgundian wines is something that makes me very, very happy. Just the elegance and the balance that they have in their wines is something to aspire to.
I'm with you on that, 100%. So tell me about your wines that you make here. What is the most expensive bottle that we'll find?
The most expensive bottle is our Waterkloof Syrah, 2020 vintage. I think it's about, I'm not good with prices either, 490 Rand a bottle. But to be honest, it's really good value because the wine is just super elegant. It just reflects the vintage so nicely, and then just what you can do with going back to nature and working organically.
And I know it's really unfair to ask a winemaker which is their favorite child. So rather than that, is there perhaps a wine in your cellar that's giving you a lot of joy at the moment, that you kind of just like when you do a tasting from the barrel or the fermenter or whatever the case may be, that you just go, oh, this is exciting?
That would definitely be the 2021 Mourvèdre that's in barrel. When I started here in 2008 at Waterkloof, it was one of my first jobs was to assist in that vineyard block, and it's planted the vines on sandstone, but quite rocky terrain. So some of the vines died because the roots didn't go into the rocks, but some of them did survive, and now we're actually harvesting this and just loving the fruits coming out of it. It shows that flinty notes so beautifully. So that's what I would be excited about, 21 Mourvèdre.
I will keep an eye out for that, that's for sure. And do you believe in a perfect variety? Is there such a thing?
There's this perfect site for variety, I would say. And to go back to Mourvèdre, we believe the site is perfect for this varietal because we get that mist coming in from the ocean that sits around the berries and just helps the varietal to ripen. Mourvèdre always needs to see the ocean. It's seeing the ocean. So I think perfect site for Mourvèdre. We believe we found it here.
Okay, a lot of that Mourvèdre coming through. So tell me, for yourself, what do you enjoy drinking? White, red, bubbles? What tickles your fancy?
My husband's a chef, so we determine what we're going to eat or drink because of the food or the wine. So I enjoy a bubbly. Who doesn't? Especially during the festive season that's coming up. I love a good bubbly. And then, I must say, when we do braai, I like with lamb, a bit of Cabernet Franc, I would say. I'm also a massive seafood lover. And then on a hot summer day, a rosé with just some nice tuna ceviche. Perfect pairing.
You're making me hungry now. So it leads me straight into, obviously, you've got a beautiful restaurant here called Chorus. It opened up very recently and it's run by Chef Bertus Basson. Your husband's a chef. When it comes to pairing food and wine, do you have kind of a rough recipe that you tend to follow, or do you just think it's a case of play around and see what works for you?
I think there's guidelines to it, but then it's always nice to pair a white wine with a red meat sometimes, dependent on what you're serving the red meat with. So I definitely don't think you should be closed, because then you're never going to be innovative. So definitely always be open with food and wine pairing.
Play around, have fun. I think that's what the most important thing is to have fun. Speaking about having fun, if you've maybe had a little bit too much fun the night before, do you have a hangover remedy?
I do believe in Bloody Marys. It works. And then I suppose it's based on just to keep drinking and then slowly just decrease the alcohol in your system. I think that's what works.
Hair of the dog every time. So, I mean, we've got spectacular views from here. And just suppose one day a UFO were to land just out here in your parking lot next to the glass box, and a bunch of aliens were to pile out, and they've come in here and they're thirsty. They're really thirsty. What would you pour for them?
For a bunch of aliens, I think we would start off with a bubbly to say welcome, and then we'll work our way through it, starting with Sauvignon Blanc and then ending with Mourvèdre, and then we'll inquire, what do they eat, and then see whether we can find a middle ground.
I like that. I want to be one of those aliens, I think. Do you have any good luck rituals or anything like that you do, or anything that you do with your team during harvest time to start your day or to start the harvest?
With the team, I believe a happy winery makes good wine. So we don't start our day with something, but we end our day with a beer. So it takes a lot of beer to make good wine. And we have one specific allocated person who's the braaier. His name is Morne. He's one of our cellar team. And so we like to braai a boerewors roll. We're very old school. But for me, it's important to end of the day with just doing something, even if it's for 5 minutes, just to say thank you guys, and sorry if I yelled at you maybe earlier in the day, but in the end we're a team, and we're only as strong as our weakest link, and we need to make sure that everyone is as strong and that everyone enjoys working in our winery.
That's for sure. It's back-breaking work in the hot sun, and that team environment is incredibly important. So I know many producers and winemakers say that they walk along the vineyards and talk to their vines, or they walk through the cellar and speak to, rub the barrels. Do you do anything like that?
I spend quite a lot of time in the barrel room. It relaxes me quite a lot, and I think just that calmness and being with the wine, and I think supporting the wine through that fermentation process, that's what I give to the wine. So just my time.
So you're a bit of a cheerleader, right?
Exactly.
So you know how some people, they can read the future in tea leaves at the bottom of a cup. So if the bottom of a glass, a wine, red wine glass, there's sediment that you could read, what would the future hold?
What would the future hold? Just making more good wine. Very simple future. I'm not a person who has massive needs. I just want to be happy, and good food and good wine truly makes me happy, and my little family.
And when you were little, what did you want to be?
Oh, many things. Ranging from a game ranger, but it's always been something linked with the outside. I just love animals. I also thought about becoming a vet. So I've always just been drawn to science and to nature.
You know, and I've said this before, the amount of winemakers who say they wanted to become game rangers is astonishing. It really, really is. It's this recurring theme. I love it. So when you're not working, what takes up your time?
We spend a lot of time at home, cooking quite a lot. I do love visiting other wine farms, and then I love surfing. I haven't been able to go out since having Clara, but it's something that I definitely need to get out and get into the ocean again. I like to exercise a bit too, hiking, but yeah, just spending time with loved ones is important to me.
Yep, that time is short indeed. Tell me, music. Are you into music? Any genres or artists or anything like that? What are you into?
Oh, I love music. It depends on my mood. I actually don't laugh, but I really like Andrea Bocelli, his music. And then I can listen to anything. It really just depends on my mood. I like reggae a lot too, just relaxing kind of music.
Okay, interesting. And film? Are you into film? Any movies that like make up your top 2 or top 3?
One of my favorite things to do was always to go to the Labia, to go and get a gin and tonic and watch a French movie. So I love movies like La Vie en Rose, Edith Piaf, Audrey Tautou is one of my favorite actresses. So I really enjoy French movies. Yeah.
That's really, really cool, actually. And just for our listeners, so the Labia is a cinema based in the city of Cape Town. It's a very old school cinema, and they show lots of old school movies. And you can order a gin and tonic or a glass of wine and sit in the cinema and enjoy that while watching your movie. So if you ever do find yourself in Cape Town, check out the Labia for sure. Okay, so what would you say is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
There's a very simple saying, and that's Nike's slogan: just do it. Keep your head up and just do it. There'll be good days, there'll be bad days. You have to have bad days to appreciate the good days, but just do it. Look forward and do it. Do your best at all times, and just enjoy life because it's so short.
And what would you say would be your proudest professional achievement?
For me, with our wines, I really base it on whether people buy our wines. For me, that's essential. And if I get a nice review from, anyone, even if it's going from a student who's just starting to drink wine to an older man or lady, for me, just the support that we are getting, and especially during COVID, the support we got from people was incredible. And that loyalty that people showed to our brand is something that I will treasure forever. Awards are fantastic, and we got the best Pinotage last year in South Africa, and we get 5 stars, and which is fantastic getting these accolades. But in the end, seeing how people supported us during tough times was something that I will always remember.
It really has been quite something that we've been through here in South Africa, and seeing the support of certainly our locals it's definitely heartwarming, that's for sure. Complete the sentence. A table without wine is like
An empty table.
exactly, totally pointless. What sort of wines do you think we'll be drinking in the year 2300?
2300. Still a while to go. That's a difficult question. I would think that anything that's drought resistant, varietals, so a lot of the Spanish varietals, Albarino, I think that's probably what we will be drinking. But at the moment, it's so unpredictable, the weather, you never know what's going to happen, but that would be my guess.
I think you're right. Climate change is real, and who's to know what will happen in the next 200, 300 years, and will humans wake up eventually, I think, is the big question. So those aliens, they've had the best time ever, and they've invited you to come and see their planet. But they've asked you to bring 3 wines with you, any 3 wines in the world. What would you choose to take?
Well, once again, we'll definitely go get some old Burgundies. I would start with a nice Gevrey, and then I would definitely get a nice Côte Rôtie. And then, of course, from Waterkloof, I will take an old Sauvignon Blanc to show them the ageability of the varietal.
That's a very good combination. I hope I'm invited on this space trip as well. Is there a winemaking area in the world that you'd still like to explore?
Definitely, I would say Tokai is something I've always wanted to go to Hungary, and I just want to go and taste those wines and see how they make it. Not that I make a sweet wine at Waterkloof, but to just go see how they do it is definitely on my list.
Would it be an option to make a sweet wine here at Waterkloof sometime in the future?
We used to make a straw wine, and I have immense respect for people who make a straw wine. It's a lot of work. We made our last one in 2013, and people have asked us to do it again. So watch the space, maybe not.
We will be watching this space. We're not finished yet, so I'm going to play a quick game with you. So I'm going to name different varieties, and you are going to pair it for me with a song or an artist or a genre or something that you feel represents the variety.
Yeah.
So it would be rude not to start with Mourvèdre.
That's quite a bold, meaty varietal. So I would go masculine a little bit with it. So, you know what? I'm actually going to go Queen. Queen, I think, would represent the varietal quite nicely, the diversity of it.
I think I get that. Yeah, I like that. Cool. What about Malbec?
Ooh, Malbec. Red berries, quite concentrated. It's another difficult one. I'm thinking actually Bob Marley.
Do you know, I can totally see that. I've got this picture in my head of Bob Marley red wine Malbec. Okay, all right. So we have to go with a Burgundian variety, Chardonnay.
I'm just thinking Mozart. Just the elegance of Mozart. If it's with a Grand Cru Chablis, definitely Mozart, as well as with a Puligny Mozart.
As loud as possible, right? Yeah. Yes, fantastic. Nadia, thanks so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Would you like to remind our listeners where they can find Waterkloof online, on social media, and if they were to ever come to South Africa, where they'll find the farm?
Yes, they can go onto our social media. We're on Instagram, Waterkloof Wines, as well as on Facebook, Waterkloof Wines, and they can DM us and send us a Facebook message, email us. All our details are on our website, www.waterkloofwines.co.za, and then we are just outside Cape Town, about 40 minutes, straight on the N2, and then you just turn once left and right, and then you'll buy us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack South Africa. For details and updates, visit our website winesoundtrack.com.